I said this a million times to so many people, I'm going to quit, that's it. But I have one very faithful guy, a friend actually. It always works the same way. You make the call, then you meet the guy, give him the money, and then you meet him again the following day. But this time I told him, my friend, it might be the very last time that we meet for that purpose at least. He was happy for me. I keep thinking about this YouTube thing, and I realized that it might be it actually, because I have been filming myself for a few days now. I'm still playing around with editing, but the thing is I keep everything, and it feels almost like I'm already doing it, you see, even though I haven't uploaded anything yet. What else is there to do? I mean, if I spend time filming myself, if I'm being honest with you, and if I learn how to edit at least a little bit, then, And I'm doing well with my little gimmick, this sequence. I don't know how you call this thing in English, that thing that always comes back in every video. I have chosen a piece of music that I have made, an old song. There is a version where I sing on it. Maybe one day I will upload the song. We'll see. But it was really nice to hear that guitar. Getting the stuff, the THC, the shit, the weed, we call it shit where I live, the cannabis. To get it was always something I hated. I always hated to have to make the call, to go, or to have someone come to your place, or to go visit a friend, the typical guy that you don't really like, but you go there because you're an addict and you need someone to help you out, to give you a little graton, as we say. Oopsie. I just thought that if I don't take the time to explain a bit better, you will have difficulties to understand why I refer to my dealer as my friend, because he really is. I always avoided to to go to that typical place where you don't know anyone and you just get the stuff, It has always been a friend of a friend. My dealer was always a friend, basically. I avoided to try to get something in the street from the typical dealer at the corner of the street. That is always something that I tried to avoid. Okay, bye. Once he and I, this guy, this dealer that I would rather consider a friend, a real good friend even, he and I had not an argument, but we disagreed on something, and I didn't understand why he disagreed with me. That was months ago. He knows that I want to quit. I always wanted to quit. And I told him that basically, I always believed that if you really want to achieve something, to try something new, and if at the same time that same thing scares you, most of the time you should go for it, because there is a virtue to it, to do something that scares you but that you want to do just because it is hard, maybe. Well, he disagreed anyway. He disagreed with me. He was like, no, I don't see why, I don't see the point. I mean, if something scares you, you should not do it. And then I told him that that you should always try to find the hardest thing for you to do, to achieve, and try to go for it. Just for the sake of it, just because it is hard to do. And he disagreed again. He was like, what? He didn't get what I was talking about. He was like, why would you do something if it is hard to do? He was more in that team that says that you should avoid problems, basically. I disagree with him. I love him, though. But I disagree with him, like, deeply. Because all I'm trying to do now is just this, to achieve something that I find difficult. Because if I really think about it, Actually, I don't even have to think about it for ages. I just need a second. What would be the most difficult thing to achieve? In my case, it would be to stop to stop smoking. I have been smoking forever, you know. I was 14, I think, when I started to smoke cigarettes, and I went to a pack a day, a pack of 20 cigarettes a day, maybe the first month. What's going on, cats? All right, cats. The cats are going crazy. That's it. Olive! Because here you have Olive there, hidden somewhere. And you never met Miet. Miet, which means crumb in English. Oh, yeah, what's going on? What? What's wrong with you? Those two, they keep fighting. They don't really fight, actually, because you have Miet here, who's pretty young. Well, she must be 6 years old. And Olive, that you might already know, who's 24. And Olive is always in a very, very bad mood, you see. Oh, and there is this thing I wanted to tell you. You might find it a bit unusual. So, first time I used THC, first time I smoked, I was on my own. I was alone. And actually, so I was 14 years old. It was in 1991. And I must have spent at least 2 or 3 years smoking on my own, alone. That was my secret. I had a dealer at the time, a young guy, and he provided me with the stuff, and I would go home, and I remember I couldn't roll joints. I didn't know how to do it at all, no idea. And I could not talk about it to anyone, and I was too ashamed to ask my dealer. So basically, for the longest time, I would take a Marlboro cigarette, you know, take the tobacco out of it, being very careful to leave the filter, the paper and everything, and then listen to this, put the little piece of cannabis inside, the little bubble, you know, the graton, without even, I don't know how you say this in English, guys. You know, when you heat it up and you just mix it with the tobacco. I don't know where you are, but where I live, I guess by my accent you must have guessed where I am. Anyways, where we are used to mix cannabis or weed with tobacco, and sometimes a lot of it. And I know some Americans are really shocked by this because they don't get why we put so much tobacco. Anyways, I didn't know that it had to be I didn't know that. So I would put it inside the cigarette and then put the tobacco back and smoke it. So I guess that it didn't work for me for a very long time, for maybe a whole year. And then I heard somewhere, or I saw someone preparing it like this, and then I started to do it and to put the tobacco back mixed with the cannabis, and then it started to work. Wow, that is such an old story, guys. I'm so old, you know. I told you, I think I'm 48. That's the big idea, by the way. It is to change and to get better in order to celebrate my 50s clean and a new man, you see. I like this idea. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyways, that's it. I love you.